Hi everyone, you've probably heard that old saying that money doesn't count when you're on vacation. Well, it does, and we've detailed every little bit of our expenses from our last trip to Disneyland. We went over Thanksgiving week. We stayed in the Disneyland resort area 5 nights. We're going to detail our flights, tickets, hotel, and all of our food. We are first going to start off with the flights, and we booked our flights about 5 months in advance. We flew Alaska, and we flew from Boise to Burbank, and then LAX back to Boise. We cannot get direct flights to the closer airports like Long Beach and John Wayne. We prefer nonstop flights, and it also tends to be a lot cheaper for us to fly into those 2 airports. We used Alaska Saver Fare, and with Alaska Saver Fare, you cannot pick your seats. So we are a little nervous that we might be sitting next to strangers, but fortunately, all 4 of us seated next to one another. And in the airplane that we fly, it's 2-in-2 configuration. So that flight for the 4 of us cost $1,031.60. Now on to transportation to and from the airport. First off, leaving our car at the airport cost us $99. Last time we flew into the Disneyland area was in June, and we met up with some friends. We decided to do a one-way car rental on that trip, and we ended up sitting in 2 hours worth of traffic on Interstate 5. So this time we thought it would be super smart and take the train. And that's the last time we're gonna take the Amtrak train at the airport. That ended up taking us 4 hours to get from Burbank to our hotel, and it was quite the ordeal. The Amtrak tickets ended up costing us $112. When we got to the train station in Anaheim, we ended up having problems with Ubers picking us up because they just didn't want to take us with our luggage. And so we ended up ordering an art on demand, and the art tickets for 4 people were $24 for the 4 of us. On our return trip back to LAX, we ended up ordering a Lyft XL, and that cost $125.65 with tip. Originally, when we planned this trip, we wanted to do 1 day at Universal Hollywood, but due to a knee surgery I had a few weeks prior to this trip, we figured my mobility would probably slow us down and be a little bit harder for us to navigate, so we ended up skipping that. And typically when we stay in Anaheim, we do a split stay, so normally we'll stay in 2 hotels so we can bring you more room tours. But in this case, we ended up booking 3 different hotels. So we stayed 1 night at the Desert Palms, and the Desert Palms, $317.72, and that was a 1 king bunk bed suite. Next, we stayed at the Alpine Inn, where we got a 2 queen room, and that price was $369.70 for 2 nights. We ended up getting 20% off because we are return customers. So if you are a return customer at the Alpine Inn, call them to make your reservation and alert them that you are a previous customer. And finally, we stayed 2 nights at the Howard Johnson in a 2 queen view room, and that came to $650.76. Now on to tickets. Essentially, the 4 of us got 3-day park hoppers with Genie Plus. It's a little more confusing because the 2 of us got a 3-day park hopper with Genie Plus. One of our teens is kind of losing that Disney magic and doesn't want to go as much, so he ended up getting a 2-day park hopper with Genie Plus. Our other teen ended up finding out one of his friends was there, and he got originally a 3-day park hopper with Genie Plus ticket, and we added a day on to his ticket at the park. So the total for all those tickets came to $1,876.94. We know it's incredibly hard to get discounts on tickets at Disney. We bought these tickets before the price increase from Undercover Tourists, and Undercover Tourists were offering adult tickets at children's prices. So if you are looking for a discount at Disney for tickets, purchase through Undercover Tourists or Getaway Today. They're legitimate retailers, and that's about the best discount you can find. Finally, because of my mobility issues, I rented a scooter for 5 days from DNR Mobility, and that came to $190.31. And thumbs up to DNR Mobility if you are looking for a scooter rental. We had a very good experience with them. I hope you're sitting down when you're watching this. The total for tickets, transportation, and hotel came to $4,797.68.
So now we're going to move on to food pricing. So I'm going to go on day 1, which is our travel day. from Boise to Anaheim. Jim and I skipped breakfast that morning, but our teens were hungry, so we got them 2 breakfast sandwiches at the Boise airport, and that cost $18.63. We did not get lunch for the whole debacle of waiting for the train and then trying to get a ride from the train station in Anaheim. For dinner, we decided to go to the Great Maple. It's a brand new restaurant at the Pixar Place, formerly Paradise Pier Hotel. Only 3 of us went. Our one son was not feeling it. He was over the travel day that day, so we got him an Earl of sandwich, 1 sandwich for $9.69. Then 3 of us went to dinner at Great Maple. We got the chilaquiles, the rib eye melt, and the ribs. Plus we decided to try their famous donut dessert with bacon and 2 alcoholic drinks, and the total for that was $151.14. The Anaheim train station luckily has an Auntie Anne's pretzel. Yes, because we were all starving at that point. And we got 2 of the little pretzel bites, and those were $12.69. When we got to our hotel, our kids were losing steam, so I got them 2 drinks at their grab-and-go convenience store. That was $8.91. I did do a Walmart grocery delivery through Walmart Plus with breakfast sandwiches, drinks, snacks throughout our stay, and that was $43.61. We got a Starbucks order when we went to downtown Disney. That was $4.65 only because we used some of our stars on one of our drink orders. And then later that night after dinner, we decided we wanted some more drinks from the 7-Eleven next door, and that was $8.20. The day 1 total was $267.24. Moving on to day 2, which is our first day in Disneyland Park. We did not spend any money on breakfast because we ate the breakfast sandwiches we ordered from Walmart. For lunch, we had Earl of sandwich, and they had a killer deal that I found. 4 sandwiches, 4 drinks, and 4 bags of chips for $37.66. So that's what we did for lunch. And then that night we had a dining reservation at Wine Country Trattoria in California Adventure. It was 4 of us for that. Jim got the spaghetti and meatballs. One of our other sons got spaghetti. One of our son's friends was with us. He got the shrimp Alfredo. And I wasn't that hungry, so I just got 2 appetizers, a soup and bruschetta, and 2 alcoholic drinks. So our grand total for that was $152.20. And then our snacks throughout the day were, we bought 1 bottle of soda in Tomorrowland. That was $5.25. We got the new garlic cheesy bread for Maurice's Treats. We got 3 of those, so the total was $24.21. Those are amazing. Highly recommend. They were delicious. We got 1 beer at Award Wieners for $16.43. I really wanted to try the Nog Chata from the Cozy Cones, which is a cocktail. That was $19.40, and we got 2 drinks at Starbucks for $14.50. Grand total was $269.65.
On to day 3. Day 3 was a rest day for us because it was a Monday, and Mondays in our experience tend to be the busiest days in the park, so we figured we'll just take that day off. And so it started off with in-room breakfast. We once again ate the breakfast sandwiches from Walmart. And then Crystal and myself, we decided to go shopping in downtown Disney and take a look at a number of things. We went to the Disneyland Hotel, but we ended up having lunch at Naples. And we ordered a large pepperoni pizza, and we ordered a pitcher of beer, and that came to $116.98 with tip. And we ordered that large pizza because we knew we'd have some leftovers and it would be for dinner or snacks with one of our teens later. Later that day, one of our friends found out we were in the parks or in the area. She invited us over to her hotel room at the Disneyland Hotel, and where she had some snacks and some drinks. So we ended up having snacks and drinks with a friend of ours because it was just light snacks in her room. We ended up going to Trader Sam's later, and at Trader Sam's, our son got chicken tenders and we got the pot stickers to share, and the 2 of us shared 1 alcoholic drink, and with tip, that came to $55.60. Our total for day 3 came to $172.58. On day 4, we rope dropped Disneyland, and we ended up not eating breakfast in our room, we had a 10:30 reservation for Carnation Cafe. And over there at Carnation Cafe, we had a breakfast sandwich, a skillet, and 2 orders of pancakes, 2 cold brews, an iced tea, and I think one of our teens got a Coke. And that total with tip came to $103.34. Because it was a later breakfast, we skipped lunch that day. And for dinner, we ordered Earl of Sandwich yet again. And that is a favorite for our teens. And that came to $47.35. And we received 4 sandwiches and 2 drinks with that order. That deal that Crystal got earlier in the week was no longer available. For snacks that day, we stopped at the cart near Small World and got a pretzel that was $6. In Frontierland, we got popcorn for $5.75. At Golden Horseshoe, we got the espresso bean cookie butter sundae, and that was $10.01. When we left the park, we stopped at the Cove, which is a convenience store located at the Tropicana, and there we ended up picking up 3 beers, and that came to $19.50. And then when we walked back to the Howard Johnson, one of our kids wanted chips. So we stopped at the Howard Johnson's convenience store and we got 2 bags of chips for $11.58. And that day we ordered Starbucks. We got 2 iced teas for $11.90. So our day 4 grand total came to $215.43.
Day 5 was our last day in the park. Jim and one of our sons ate breakfast in our room, and I just wasn't feeling breakfast at that moment, so I didn't eat. But later, Jim bought me the breakfast chimichanga from the Ship to Shore Marketplace that's next to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We've never tried that before. It was really good. It was $7.53, and I would totally get that again. For lunch, our son was hungry earlier than we were, so he asked for Earl of Sandwich again. So he got Earl of Sandwich and 1 fountain drink, and that was $13.99. Our son and I decided to do the Animation Academy, and while we were in there, Jim got hungry, so he grabbed a burrito at the food truck in the Hollywood area, and that was $14. And then once we got out of the Animation Academy, I was hungry, so I grabbed the asada fries from Award Wieners, and those were $13.46. For dinner, we decided to go to her Stone Lounge in the Grand Californian. We wanted to go into the lobby to see their beautiful tree and their gingerbread anyways. And we were able to walk right up and get a table, which we were shocked. What we ordered there was, I got the grilled cheese, Jim got a burger, and our son was kind of full from his Earl of Sandwich. So he got the Parmesan bread twists, and we got 3 alcoholic drinks while we were there, and our grand total was $104.91 with tip. Then on to snacks. We went back to the Golden Horseshoe to get the espresso chip sundae because our son that was with us had not tried it when we got it the day before. This time they saw that I had a Disney Visa and they gave me a discount, so it was only $9.01. I wanted to try the Huckleberry Mint Julep at the Mint Julep bar. That was $6.99. We got 1 beer at Award Wieners. That was $16.43. I was finally able to mobile order the famous Mickey gingerbread cookies at Jolly Holiday. I decided to grab 2 so we could all share, and that was $16.14. And then we did go to Starbucks that day. I believe we used some rewards because we only spent $8.40. So our grand total for day 5 was $210.86. Now moving on to day 6, which is our travel day back home, so not very exciting. We ate breakfast in our room before we headed to the airport, but once we got to the airport, sat through all the traffic at the airport, got through security, our teens were hungry again. So we got the it's a theme that happens quite often with our travels. So Jim got them 2 chocolate croissants at Starbucks, and since he was going to Starbucks and we had not yet had caffeine, he got us 2 drinks. So our total at the airport Starbucks was $17.19. Our grand total for food for the entire length of our trip came to $1,152.95.
The total for all the food travel expenses, hotel, and tickets came to $5,950.63. These trips are not cheap, and the one thing that you have control over is the food. You can eat food in the hotel room, especially if your hotel has a microwave. We've done trips in the past where we've packed all our food. Now we usually order a bunch of food from Walmart to try to save on some of those food expenses. Additionally, if we didn't order alcohol, we could have probably knocked a couple $100s off this. But the bulk of the cost was tickets, travel expenses, and hotel. And those are things that you really don't have a lot of control over on the pricing. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to check out one of our room tours, go ahead and click the link here. Thank you so much for watching.